and welcome to Rose-Play Presents episode 43. As always, I'm your host, Aurian MoonRose, and joining me today, as always, co-host Saul Wildfire. So, here on Rose-Play Present, we can do a little bit of anything, from interviews with content creators, game developers, podcasts, game betas that are closed, E3 events, Comic-Con, a little bit of anything. We were originally going to do movies, that is what we're doing today, but there's a story behind that. But I must first probably answer all your questions. Atama, Saul, why no top fives? Well, we did actually record the first top five of the top 5 E3 games. It crashed and burned. And it was hot this whole time. So it was hard to do these, especially with 2 people in the office and no circulating air. So it went so long that we just figured nobody even probably cares anymore. So instead, we're here with the review of Annabelle. Now, Annabelle's not going to stay on this channel. This is actually a preview of FireMoonRose-Play, which is going to be her show. I will be a part of it. But knowing how she does have her nice little shyness, I probably still will be the main focus-ish, the talking, and she'll join in. Until she gets comfortable with it. If she gets comfortable enough with it to start the show and whatnot, she can more than do it. And I'll ride back seat. But, for now, we were going to preview FireMoonRose-Play. I still can't get this new show down. And it's going to be games. It's going to be her and me. We're going to play single-player games together, taking turns. We're going to play multiplayer games. And I don't mean multiplayer as in online. Maybe. Just depends, but we'll be doing like co-op type multiplayer games. But, since we're not starting FireMoonRose-Play until Season 15, we decided, well, we want to get the reviews going. She wants to get her new categories going in it. So we decided we'd do that here. Now, here on FireMoonRose-Play, we will be judging scary movies by a jump scare factor, sound effects, graphic reality factor, creativity of the story, and of course, final rating in general. And this is her things that she picked. So if this goes really well, I might just throw this into everything for game reviews But, enough of that. We're probably waiting to see what we thought of the first Annabelle. Not the new one, Creation, that just came out. That's here a little bit later. But let's go ahead and jump into the jump scare factors. And thus begins jump scare factors. What can be said about jump scare factors for Annabelle? There ain't none. Like, none at all.
Pretty much.
So, being that this is a new series, do you want to start off point, and then I'll go to my point after we've talked about yours a little bit?
Sure.
Alright.
Well, I mean, if you count a doll going in the crease of the door as a jump scare, I guess. But, honestly, though, none of these jump scares got to me at all. They really did not.
No, and on point with that, first of all, because the scene where the doll goes into the crevice is about the time where the doll starts sitting up and standing up on its own. That started to at least be a little scary. Anytime an inanimate object starts sitting there and turning and whatnot, or moving, it's amazing. But it starts getting up, and I'm just like, oh my god, this could be a little... And it starts floating. It's like, you ruined the whole darn experience.
Exactly.
And the demon? The demon wasn't that bad, at least. Like you said, the only thing that really would be a jump scare was the first time that the demon jumped at you. Or that flash of lightning, and then bam, it's right in your face.
Yeah, but that wasn't even really a jump scare. It was just like, flash, it's there, then it's gone.
Gone. Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, so my first point is, and this is with the sewing machine.
Yeah.
I was waiting so long for the sewing machine to get her that you lose faith that it will, and then bam, it happens. And by then you're just like, I don't care anymore. I've gotten used to the sewing machine going off on its own. Which was still her fault, by the way. It had nothing to do with the doll. Or the
Yeah.
possession or the demon, whatever it wants to call itself in there.
Exactly.
The sewing machine turning on was something.
Exactly.
But her being stupid, sitting there and watching her own soap opera that she's invested in, and she's like, so hey, you there sewing, just listen. Don't pay attention to me. Oh, what? Oh, Jesus! Yeah, the sewing machine wasn't scary at all.
Yeah, exactly. See, I would have liked it if she was sitting there sewing and it started going faster and was cutting
Yeah,
over
or
her
it pulled
hand
or it pulled the cloth in,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden her hands
Her
just like,
hands
ah,
going in,
and like,
yeah.
like a few times. That would have at least been kind of a jump scare. Might have been scary, maybe, because I am afraid of needles per se. But I mean, just having it's like, oh, you're just sitting there going, I either know the feeling or oh god. All right, so what's your next point?
Oh my gosh, if there is anyone. Yeah, there was not much, but I guess there was that time when in the beginning of the movie where what is it? Oh, the neighbors and the flash and the killing that thing.
Oh, right. So when all of a sudden the guy wakes up slightly, and you see the light turn on, and they go over, and then somebody, it looks like it's the boyfriend, kills the parents, and, well, so-called boyfriend. I still don't believe it was really a boyfriend. I just think that's the detective that said it.
Is it weird that I thought that was the husband that killed her?
Walk, 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 walk. Yeah.
I thought it was the husband just slashing her up.
But yeah, the blood coming flying at the window show when the guy stood up, I mean, it really wasn't scary or a scare factor, like you said, but at least it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, you knew, you somewhat knew it wasn't the husband, at the same time you didn't know it.
Yeah.
Alright, so, and then they try to make you afraid of the doll. But honestly, the doll remains inactive for most of the movie.
Yeah.
It's everything around, including the demon, that is scary, if even that at all. Yeah, like I said, the doll barely moves. I mean, there's the chair scene where it's rocks,
chair.
but that's less creepy and just more of the fact, well, maybe the chair just really doesn't like to stop to rock when you throw a doll into it. But I mean, yeah, it was the sewing machines and the noises and the demon, and the doll barely did crap. Like I said, the one time it actually stands the crap up, and it's like, no.
Yep.
Any other point? Yeah. Any other points for you?
No, probably not.
Okay, so I've got the only real scary thing was about the crying baby. This was around the time of the demon, and the sheets covered with blood in the carriage.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't afraid of the crying or seeing the blood. My thought was whether or not there was actually a baby being under there, and what, if anything, was it going to look like? Because being a parent,
yeah.
you know, if I saw my son's carriage with blood and crying, I'd be freaking out. So I mean, for that point, I really felt it. Let's see. We talked about the quick flash of the demon chasing her. I should have been a little bit creeped out by the doll finally moving.
Yeah.
When it was moving, like I said, but I was just so happy to see the darn thing moving that when it disappointed me with the whole floating thing, I was like, it ran at her. See, I was hoping what I was hoping it would do was there's this one scene in the movie where there's the little girl Annabelle, and she starts running at the not the mother but the wife, and the door starts closing. All of a sudden, she comes back through it as a doll to Annabelle. Yeah. If the doll would have stood up and started running at her like that, I might have been a little afraid.
Yeah. See, the thing with me was, though, they didn't shut the door, like, enough, because I could tell that she was gonna become an adult one.
There was just not that, but it was kind of, you just kind of felt something was gonna happen, because they were closing the door. Exactly. If the door would have just stayed open and she just halfway point morphed into the big version.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would have been great transitioning, like mighty fine transitioning in CG, though. To go from the little girl to the adult, like, instantaneously.
But, like, they were shutting the door, so I kind of expected something.
Yeah, I did too. I at least expected her to come running through, maybe all bloody, maybe still a little girl. And honestly, I really did like the effect, though.
Yeah.
The going from the little girl to adult was something neat. It could have been scary, if this movie was scary for me at all. But, I mean, at least they tried with that one, and the transitioning was still good.
Yeah.
But if they would have left the door open, it would have been a big more surprise.
Yeah.
So they could have done it. So my rating for this, for at least the jump scare factors, I gave it a 2. And it was mostly only because the doll finally moves, and then they messed it up. Otherwise, I think I probably would have gave it a 1.
Well, I give it a 2 also, because it was barely scary at all. It was not. The jump scares were absolutely not there.
Well, and the thing is, too, the last point that I'll make in this part is you have a doll, you preview it being creepy in the previews. People are innate afraid of dolls.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, maybe I am a little bit. I mean, you have Chucky scare a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he moved. And I mean, even though it got less creepier as it happened, and maybe that's what they thought was, we're not going to use we're not going to let her move so much because then it's going to take away from the scare. But the fact that you're waiting this entire movie for the doll to do crap, and it does nothing.
Yeah. True.
I mean, you were, at least for me, I was expecting the doll to do more. Not everything around it. And even though we haven't gotten to Annabelle creation yet, we did go see it first.
Yeah.
Or we did see it before this, and I wish this thing wouldn't turn off all the time. Even though the doll didn't do much, I did not expect the Annabelle movie to be more about the noises, items moving.
Yeah.
And I think that really turned me off from the scare factor.
Yeah.
All right. Now, speaking of everything else in the film that's making noises, let's go ahead and transition that into how the sound effects went. All right. And we come back to sound effects. What about them?
There wasn't that many good ones. But,
no, there really wasn't.
I mean, I guess if you count a sewing machine going wild, that might have. But, I mean, everything was pretty much inanimate objects.
Yeah, and actually that's my first point, so I'll just kind of talk to you about it with my first point, too, which I have a lot of the first half of the movie was just sound effects, which tended to be everyday items and stuff. And I know it's supposed to be the creep factor, that it's supposed to make us be a little on edge because, oh my god, the oven's turning on, the sewing machine's going, the popcorn's popping. And I understand that. I understand that it's supposed to be a little creepy. But in today's society for movies, that just doesn't really get people that much anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, Paranormal Activity, really not a fan of Paranormal Activity. We'll get into that if we ever watch that series and review it here on the show. But I really was not a fan of everything moving around and whatnot. I mean, there might have been a few moments that's like, oh my god, that's generally kind of creepy. But this wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, the sound effects, don't get me wrong, the sound effects, I believe, were good. Let me check what the final rating is on it. Well, it was better than the jump scares, apparently. But the sound effects, it wasn't that they were bad. They were trying to get you unnerved and on-edged with the sound. Oh my god, the sewing machine's going by itself and it's making noises. And Cinema Sins made a point of this. That has got to be the loudest sewing machine ever.
Yeah.
Not to mention, another thing Cinema Sins mentioned, which is true, the guy takes like 5 minutes to turn off the freaking sewing machine. Like, how hard is it to turn off a sewing machine? I understand it was like the 70s or something, and guys weren't supposed to sew and whatnot, but, okay, you can't find the button after a minute. I'm just unplugging the mother.
Yeah.
So, I guess that then comes back to the next part, which was the baby crying in distress really gave me a feeling of unease.
Yeah.
That's my other point. And again, most of it was due to being a parent.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it was crying, the fact that it was bloody, and you didn't, again, kind of like the jump factor, you didn't know what to expect. So the sound of the baby crying and the movement of it, the sound effects, really did make me uneasy, but not in the way that I think they were going for.
Yeah.
They succeeded in it, but just not in the way I think they were for me.
Yeah.
Right, so what else with you?
Well, there was the rocking chair, but, the only reason that really didn't get to me is because it's been in so many movies. And, like, I kind of wanted something new, like, the chair starts creaking, and then it starts creaking really fast. But, like, literally, like, it stopped when she started going towards it. So, like, she can't even be scared.
Actually, what would have been cool is if this thing would have rocked back and forth and slowly got closer to her. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think even Child's Play did the chair moving back and forth. But no, okay. Here's what gets me with the chair, the rocking chair. It's not the fact that it's rocking. I made a joke of this when we went to go see Annabelle Creation. Oh, there's the rocking chair shaking. It's not an Annabelle movie unless the rocking chair is rocking. And honestly, I as the movie progresses, because I think the rocking chair happens, what, 2 or 3 times?
Something like it.
By this point in the movie, and the fact that it happens again in Annabelle Creation, just makes me feel like the demon likes to rock. Like, it's just sitting there going, what should I do next? Aha! Sewing machine! But then what? Gotta rock and think a little bit more. Well, I have no other points, though. So, is there any other points for this one that you have?
I have the popcorn popping and the fire or whatever. Honestly, though, the fire, it sounded so fake. Like, I swear I could turn a fan on and it would sound exactly like it.
And not just that, but I understand that it was trying to pop the popcorn and start a fire. Why did it have to turn on all 4 stoves?
Yeah, exactly.
Not only that, but does this even like to waste energy and raise the bill? I guess if I can't burn the place down, I'll make their bills so high they can't afford it. Oh, and that reminds me, too. I mean, I didn't put this into another... It would probably go into reality and creativity of the story, but I'm still going to throw it in here in sound effects. The guy buys her this doll, wants to get rid of it. They paid a crap ton of money, got into a house, got into an apartment. Why did they not sell the doll for money? Would the doll have really found them again if they would have sold it to somebody else? They threw it in the trash. What did they expect was going to happen? The doll was going to come back?
Yeah.
All right. I just had to get that out there because that racked my mind. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. So my rating on sound effects, like I said, was a 3. I'm only giving it a 3 because the crying baby, mostly the crying baby, mixed with the not knowing what, if anything, was under there, made it soundy to a 3. Like, that scene alone pretty much did it for me. The rest of it was just kind of, at least they tried. So what about you? What's your rating?
Mine is actually the same as the jump scare. I give it a 2. Yep, barely scary. Just, no. It was totally fake, even though... Is this movie old? I forget. How old it is. I forgot.
It's actually older than, I mean, some of it, but it's not too old. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Let's actually take a look at this quickly, because it doesn't normally take long to look stuff up.
Yeah, because I forget. I can't keep track of movies.
Whoops. Nope, just Annabelle. I wanted Annabelle. I think it was like 2012, maybe 2013, but that's still pretty new compared to some of them. Like when we do Stephen King's It, the original, there's like no scenes really.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really gonna not be that great. Oh God, they're just showing creation. Oh, here we go. 2014. So it was like 3 years ago now. The thing should have been a lot more scarier still.
It would have been better. It should have been better. Way better.
Like Stephen King's It, I know for the blood factor and whatnot. I mean, it was first of all the miniseries when it was on ABC.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're probably gonna let some stuff slide, but Annabelle had no reason.
Yeah.
To be where it was, just none at all. Like, I mean, was this even supposed to be a scary movie? I know the trailers, honestly, made it seem like it was supposed to be scary, and people were waiting for this.
Yeah.
But, like, I think this movie focused more on based on a true story than it did horror. Or even suspense. Like no matter what you try to put it under, it's not even really scary for its fact. Oh, it's a thriller. No, it's not. It's this horror movie. Where? There's like 3 deaths.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nowhere safe to put this.
If there is any deaths. I mean, I thought the only death was her jumping out the window.
No. Okay, I guess we'll go into this too here quickly. Okay, first was the parents.
Oh, yeah, the parents, I guess.
So that was really mostly off screen. But there was a little blood on the window. So that's 2 body count. Then the boyfriend got it by the cops. Then Annabelle got it.
Which ones were by the actual doll, though? None.
The old woman.
Yeah, the woman.
The old black woman.
The woman who sacrificed herself.
Technically, the doll didn't even kill her.
Nobody. No, the doll didn't do nothing.
Or even if you're not pretending the doll did it, the possessed demon, Annabelle, there was no deaths. And I know that we didn't want to talk about Annabelle creation too much, but I'm gonna throw this in here. The demon was like uber deadly in creation. Like what happened? Did the powers wane in the 30 years time? Because the most this thing does is creak, 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 creak.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, this, like, I don't know, I really don't. All I can say is that I didn't like Annabelle 2. We're not even at final ratings, and I'm already telling you guys, I didn't like Annabelle. I loved Annabelle 2.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. That's next. The next one, I believe, is still going to be Annabelle Creation, even if we're behind on it and whatnot. We'll have it right now. Trust me. I'm going to say this at the end in the final rating 2. Skip Annabelle 1. Go to 2. Just go to 2. But I think we've really got off topic here, which is fine because, it's fun. So let's go ahead and jump into the graphics reality factor of Annabelle. So, graphics reality. How does the movie fare in the real, if it was put into the real world, or how real does it look? To answer that, we go to Soul's first point.
I thought it looked really good for an older time period.
Right, I think it took place like 1970.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it looked really good for its time period, and the blood looked mostly real.
Right, though there really wasn't too much blood.
Yeah.
There was the baby carriage, even though that was more blood-soaked than just blood pouring out. There was the windowsill with the parents getting killed, though it was more just of a spray. I think the biggest blood was actually when Annabelle slit her throat. But other than that, the last thing was like getting stabbed in the stomach for the baby. And honestly, I don't even remember there being that. I remember seeing the blood, but I'm just like, eh.
I don't remember seeing nothing, honestly.
Yeah, I don't really either. I just feel like there was blood there.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember seeing it.
But also for the timepiece too, you're right that it looks like it actually took place in the whatever time frame it's supposed to. It was like, ooh, this takes place in the 70s, but they have a 2010 Motorola. Yeah, no, it didn't seem like that at all.
Yeah, for sure. Also, there was like Father Perez, that religious guy, who flew back from the church, and I thought that looked pretty fake.
Yeah, what it honestly looked like, it looked like one of those stunt people who are on like a string, like someone just pulled him.
That's probably
and he's
what
like,
it was.
And honestly, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of an airplane. Like when someone puts out a parachute and they just go flying. That's what it looked like. Now, in that retrospect, that looked cool.
Yeah.
But no, it looked like somebody just took somebody on a pulley and just pulled them and then digitally removed the string.
Exactly. Yeah, it did not look believable at all to me.
Funny as hell, though, that he decides to wait till he gets to the church to do it. No, let's not make him crash. Let's not let him get me, or let's not do it when we get out of the car. Let's wait until he gets me right to the steps.
Yeah.
More damage. For my first point, considering it was based in a supposed true story, the reality is almost 100%. And what I mean by almost is, first of all, you've got to believe that there's supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're going to be like, this is not based in reality. But there was one part of it that really got Saul out of it. I was like, well, we don't know what they look like, so we can't really for sure, but we'll let Saul do that with her next point.
There was that demon thing in the basement, it was supposed to be Annabelle, in demon form.
Demon, not the person, but a demon, an entity that's just calling itself Annabelle.
And that thing, no, that did not pull it off for me at all. I could tell that was a person literally dressed up and painted and whatnot. You know, I could tell it was poor. I didn't like it.
Now, don't get me wrong on that one. I will say that we don't actually know what demons fully look like. We've had them explained to us. We've seen better looking demons in movies. I will give that much. Compared to other movies where the demons are done really good, this one does look really, excuse my language, piss poor.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it does look like just some really tall guy in paint going after her. Yeah. But, I mean, at least they went practical again. So, I mean, who's to say that the demon doesn't look like that? So, I mean, it didn't take me that much out of it. Yeah. It did take me out a little bit, which is kind of reduces the final score. But I still think they did all right, even with the demon scene, other than the fact that how did the woman escape? The demon had control of the elevator. She was in that hallway with the crying baby, and it forgets to unlock a door.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Again, it comes back to the fact that this demon is really slow at what it does or something, or it lost its power because it is way much stronger in the prequel sequel.
Yeah.
Alright, so looks like I got 3 points. Most of the movie is centered in reality and seems plausible for graphics, which you did mention.
Yeah.
They are or look real. And I do like the fact that the people who made the movie decided to do practical more than CG.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it might have done better with the demon, and I will say this now, as I will in the Annabelle creation review, the demons look a lot better. Or whatever they're using for it looks a lot better. Do you have any other points?
No.
Okay, so my last point then is the little girl, and we mentioned this in the last one, so we really don't have to go on it too much. The little girl turning into an adult Annabelle, running at Mia, albeit not really scary, is a neat transition between the doors closing.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, it closing kind of gave way to something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I already stated what I would have liked to have seen, but it would also have been cool if Annabelle would have ran at it as a little girl and came out the demon.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the demon, like you said, takes you out of it, but it would have been cool to see that too.
Yeah.
Alright, so that gives my final rating an 8. Pretty high. But it was because since it was supposed to be set in reality, and most effects are practical and done okay, it works really well. The only reason why it is not a 10, because, based on real events, you'd think would be a 10, but like you said, the demon, you can tell that the practical effects are done kind of poorly, so I dropped it down to 8.
Yeah. Well, I gave it a 3. And,
well, you hated this movie more than I, vocalize it.
I don't know. Even though it was set for its time period, it was definitely the demon and the, flying back. All of the demonic stuff that was gonna happen is what screwed it over for me.
Now, I will say at least that's where the sewing machine turning on and the popcorn turning on really brought the effects up there.
Yeah.
For the reality thing. I mean, because even though, if you believe in the supernatural, just the fact that it turns on, at least even though it wasn't scary and you're just like, at least it helped. And I think that's another reason why I raised it so high. On to creativity of the story for Annabelle. So, since I only had one thing and she had more, I'm going to go ahead and go first. That way we can just have her say it all, because it's pointless to have her go, then me go, and then all of a sudden, it's all back to her for the rest of it with me just commenting. And us having a talk. So, mine for creativity was that it was based on a true story. And beginning quote tries to infer fear on person watching, especially people afraid of dolls. So when it comes to the creativity, I feel that since it's supposed to be based on true events, and I mean, I know they probably are embellishing on it a little, that I really can't, give this a low rating for creativity personally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I should. But, I mean, for the most part, though, it's very creative because it's real events, so there's that. It trying to infer fear on a person with souls and dolls is nice, especially since some people really are afraid of dolls.
Yeah.
So there's that. And that's really all I have for creativity until we go to the rating. So, on to you.
Well, like, I was very confused at the beginning, because, like, I like, like, when, the neighbor was getting killed or whatever, I thought it was the husband stabbing her to death.
Yeah, from it being far away, it kind of makes sense.
All I saw was a guy.
Yeah, now, see, because of the fact that I had watched it once before you and knew, I looked closer. But on first viewing, you don't necessarily completely watch what's going on across the street because you don't exactly know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I can see that.
And, also, like, they like literally just break in their house just to get a doll, which I was like curious, like, how would they even know there would even be a doll in there?
Well, it makes me wonder on that one because, I mean, Annabelle ended up using the doll to possess it, but I don't think they came in there for the doll. I think they had just come in there to kill the neighbors to make sure nobody heard the sounds. Because, I mean, there was a small gap when the husband or boyfriend, I don't really know if they were married. I think they were. When he went over to the neighbor's house, found him dead, and said, "Hun, we need to call the cops."
Yeah.
So I think it was less of the fact that they knew the doll was there, and more of the fact that they followed him to make sure there was no witnesses.
Yeah, that could be true, but why would she slit her own throat then?
Because I think she knew the alternative was she would be going to jail.
Yeah,
And as
but
a
she
doll,
grabbed the doll.
she did. Well, see, that kind of comes into Annabelle creation. It's kind of ironic that the doll that the original Annabelle had just happens to also be this same exact doll model.
Yeah.
And I understand that it was supposed to be a Raggedy Ann doll, but they couldn't get the rights.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was that. But I mean, you said it with Chucky earlier when we were watching something on Child's Play. Why do you want to go into a 6-year-old boy? No one's going to blame you for the deaths as a doll. I think that was basically Annabelle's thought was, I can either be put in jail and either break out and be on the hunt, or go into a doll.
Yeah.
No!
I guess so. It still does not make any sense to me.
No.
And, like, her just running away to be in a cult. And then just coming back to kill her parents.
Well, and, I mean, you're right. That is completely confusing. You're really just thinking, okay, so apparently the cult's like kill your parents. That's cool. But again, coming back to the fact that we watched Annabelle Creation, and they've kind of changed how that works, the whole cult thing makes even less sense. Especially since supposedly the guy with her was the boyfriend.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, supposedly. And you joined a cult that technically you should be the leader of?
Yeah.
Yeah, much more confused. But we will explain the Annabelle Creation cult thing a little bit more probably in the sequel. But I mean, since we've seen it, there's that. But yeah. I'm just as confused.
And then it revolves around a pregnant woman and after she gives birth, and it was just like, do not stab her in the belly, and it freaking stabbed her in the belly, and I was not cool with that.
I was waiting for her to die, honestly.
I was not cool with that. Yeah, I could have swore that baby was dead. At least
losing the baby.
Yeah, I could have swore that baby was dead. And I was like, oh no, this is not happening. It wasn't scary, it's just kind of like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
that was
thinking
me,
that you were pregnant. Yeah, exactly.
It gets scary. Even if you're not a mother, if you really love kids, it's just, I can't.
Especially
not a baby. Babies are what gets to me in scary movies.
Right.
I'm just like, no. Kid's fine.
To be fair, though, and to be fair, like we've stated, though, that demon was bad. I know I think it wanted the baby's soul or the body.
Handing it over or something, yeah.
I mean, Annabelle Creation really confuses number one in a lot of ways. I mean, Creation's good, but it creates a lot of plot holes that I don't know if the demon was trying to kill the baby, take the soul, possess it, but if it was trying to kill the baby, it did a poor job.
Oh yeah, the books for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they go to religious people, and that freaking religious woman jumps out of the window. Which why if you want a soul, why don't you just kill her?
Yeah,
Kill her.
I mean, Annabelle, demon, whatever, didn't have a problem with taking people over in the sequel prequel or killing things. I mean, what was there? Like, there was like 3 deaths or something.
Yeah.
I swear they killed off like a dozen people in the new movie.
Yeah.
Demon waned in power, big time.
Yeah, I did not. I didn't really. But yeah. That's pretty much it.
All right. Well, since you like had most of this corner, so damn much to say, go ahead and do your rating first.
Okay, well, I give it a 6. It's a little bit above average. It's all right. It's scary enough, I guess. It's
Yeah, I mean
decent.
the creativity. Yeah, that's why I said. I mean, because I told you I should give it a high score because it's based on real facts. How much creative can you get? But at the same time, I felt like I shouldn't. So I actually ended up giving it 2 ratings here. I gave it a 10 because being supposedly based on real events, again, you can get more creative than this. And if it is real, even if the movie itself is not really scary or jumpy or whatever, just the fact of thinking that this could really happen to you.
Yeah.
Creativity. But then I gave it a 2 because of the way that they handled the movie. It was slow paced. There was too much filler. The sewing machine was like 10 minutes, had 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
And the doll pretty much did nothing.
Exactly.
And it just seemed because of all that, it was very uninteresting. And, I mean, it's a 10 and a 2. So I guess if you want to combine the two, I mean, that really puts it at a horrible spectrum. So I'm going to say my score on it's like an 8. Yeah. So I guess I'm technically subtracting 2 points for
exactly.
that
I'm subtracting the 2.
Yeah, I'm subtracting the 2. All right, so with that out of the way, we finally get close to the end of the review with the rating in general, final rating, and any final thoughts that we might have for it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and head there and see what mess this movie actually was. So, final rating, thoughts, whatnot. So, really, I'll just go into final rating, talk a little bit about the reason why. She'll go. We'll have a nice little talk for the end and probably call it there. So, final rating, I gave it a 4.5. Most of the movie is just very slow paced, too much filler or fluff, which I mentioned a few times.
Yeah.
Hardly no death. Hardly no death about a psycho lady and demon. However, giving it was based again on true facts, and it didn't use much CGI. It used, realistic type graphics. It made it enjoyable up to that point, even with the slow pace and hardly nothing scary happening. And that's why I gave it a 4.5. Beyond that, I really didn't like the movie. I mean, I know I'm giving it almost close to average, but I really didn't like it. Like, the trailers and everything. People, oh, I can't wait to see Annabelle. Annabelle's gonna be scary. This movie is very scary. This movie is very boring.
Yeah.
Like, go see Annabelle Creation. That's good. I mean, creates plot holes and questions, which I'll talk about in the next review for Annabelle Creation. But, I mean, I really just did not like Annabelle as much as everybody made it out to seem.
Yeah. I gave it a 3 altogether because I thought it was a little entertaining and it was alright, but honestly, these people are going to see a movie for a doll and the doll doesn't do nothing but rock in a chair and throw books at a baby.
Yeah, and to be fair, the doll's not even the main focus.
No, it's not. No.
Especially once you see creation.
Yeah.
Once you see creation, you realize the doll is just the host.
Exactly. So it's I don't know. I was hoping for more doll action, and all you see is her floating in the air.
Well, even that was bad. And I mentioned it too.
Yeah.
When it started standing up on its own, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Movie, you have failed this city.
It just goes up like a balloon. Is there a balloon connected to her? I swear there is.
Oh, it was probably like marionette wires lifting it up, or some guy in a green suit. Simba is born. Oh god, this is a doll.
Ew, what the hell is this? In the garbage, because I can't sell it.
Yeah, because I can't sell like $1,000 doll.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with
We'll
you.
throw it in the garbage, it won't come back. I won't get no money for it, but it's all good.
If it wasn't for the fact that it was supposed to be based on a true story, I probably would have gave it a 2, in all honesty. And even then, I think, again, one of the biggest issues with Annabelle, besides the fact that I was waiting for I mean, fine. The doll didn't have to do much.
Yeah.
It really didn't. But it did nothing! I mean, no eyes blinking.
The demon, though. Oh my gosh, the demon. It was so bad.
The demon, which is why I don't think they did it much.
The pop-outs were so bad, didn't cut it for me, so.
It didn't.
I would not recommend this.
No. This is...
Unless you want to see the second one. If you're gonna go see this, see the first one first, then go see the second one, and it'll connect it, and it'll make it a little bit better than what it is.
Besides the few plot holes that it has created.
But oh well, just forget those.
Yeah, just forget those. Just go to enjoy the movie. Don't ask too many questions. But yeah, no, the only way I suggest seeing Annabelle is either if you're a big fan of the lore of Annabelle, if you like doll movies, and you're just obsessed with watching anything that's a doll.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can't recommend it for the reasons she gave. I mean, maybe it's a rental? Maybe?
Just a quick watch and throw away.
Yeah, like, don't buy the movie. Unless
throw it away, don't sell it, because, you know.
Unless it's $5 or under, and even then, I'm being generous.
It might come back, so just throw it in the garbage.
It might come back!
Just throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, it might come back. No, it won't come back. Though it did come back for a sequel.
Exactly.
But, yeah, no. Annabelle just... No. Wasn't what I expected. Wasn't fun. And I think the trailers and people talking about it is what really ruined it for me. Just like, and we'll eventually watch this movie, Paranormal Activity. I think the trailers ruined the entire movie for me, honestly. But yeah, so don't watch it. I mean, in the comments you can tell us if you liked it, what you hated about it.
Just see the first few seconds of it. The first few seconds, or maybe like 15 minutes of it.
So in other words,
and then stop it.
Watch the main star at the beginning of the movie, the sewing machine.
Yeah, exactly. Just watch the whole part where that Annabelle chick is in there, and then just stop it.
Yeah, that's probably when it gets.
Yeah, after that, it's just gone. So
or turn on a sewing machine, watch it for 10 minutes and fumble around.
It'll be the same damn thing.
It'll be the same thing. So, I guess since you did a 3 and I did a 4.5, can we agree that a final rating is probably a 4?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So a 4. It's a movie you should only watch if it's on TV. Maybe a rental, but just barely. Don't buy it. Unless it comes with a combo pack with Creation or something.
Yeah.
But that's where we're going to leave it. So, we'll leave it here for Rose-Play Presents. We'll come back the next episode. Wikipedia. Honestly, I Wikipedia'd it before I saw the movie. The Wikipedia sounded more interesting.
You use that for that so you get a little backstory and then just go on to Creation.
And then watch Everything is Wrong with Annabelle. Maybe some critics making fun of it.
Exactly.
Same thing. You get the same feel for the movie. Yep. So, on the next episode, we will come back with the movie I've been talking about and her Annabelle Creation. we wanted to originally do this review and then go see Annabelle Creation, but we kind of went and seen it beforehand. And yeah, just know we probably will give that much better ratings. So, until next time, remember, keep gaming, never give up, and if you're going to make a doll stand up, you darn well better make that darn thing walk. I'm serious.